进跟后果，宣扬人民政府今天胜利了。
但是你们能不能？
刚才也问我啊，我可以回答你句，无可奉告，我也不高兴。
哎，什么叫中国共产党啊？党叫干啥就干啥。
黑夜即将到，一定要做好准备。
是。
干死共产党！不干死共产党，绝不罢休！
消灭中共是正义的需要。
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Expose the CCP show. And today we have Mr. Truth and Chris with us today to discuss the current chaos around the world and caused by this Chinese Communist Party, of course. So, hi, Mr. Truth.
Hi, everyone, global brothers and sisters. Let's take down the CCP. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Great. Thank you. And also, Chris, good to see you again.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be on the show again today. Thank you.
Yeah, in the past couple of weeks, we probably see a lot of turbulent activities around the world, and you see chaos both inside the United States and also outside. And we have, the whistleblower movement supporters, the NFSC, and we have known this for a long time because Mao Guo has been exposing this fact to the world since 2016 or 17-ish, and he has exposed so many materials. But people hopefully are waking up to see that, and we understand the importance of eliminating the CCP. And let's watch the first video. The NFSC has been on the War Room program and try to expose more truth about the CCP, and we'll be right back and discuss about it.
The relationship, the CCP is trying to sow discord, chaos, and disunity into the United States of America 24/7. Your thoughts on Los Angeles, the riots, sir?
Absolutely. First of all, this is what they love to see. That's what they want to see for over the years. This is what they call the revolution. They want to destroy the democracy and freedom in this country through the revolution, whereas the free world want to change the China into a democracy and a freedom country through evolution. But what happens in LA is the revolution started with R, stands for red, I think. The CCP will definitely use LA protest as a golden opportunity to discredit American and to use that to push the fake news and they are already using their state-controlled media, claiming that American is falling. Okay, all their media is the coverage is doomed and panic. They will see the people is running with the fear and on the street all the chaos. They will use this as this is a classic CCP psychological warfare, because this is exactly what they used back in 1989 during the Tiananmen Square. They spread the news and lies and to put the public opinion against the peaceful student, and then they divided the movement, and then use the false narrative to justify their killing, and they're killing the young innocent people, and they call that a justice. So that's what they are playing right now. They will definitely use this opportunity to attack the American, to spread the disinformation. I hope it's not a bioweapon, because what they will do is using this chaos, they can attack the American. I think the American people need to stay alert. This is the real threat is from the shadow, from CCP. I think the real danger is not really on the street, it's from the CCP behind. And they are very good at it. They will push the disinformation and make a panic. First of all, they will use this opportunity to push their narrative that the dictatorship, the orderly dictatorship, is better than the democratic and freedom Western country. And also they will use this opportunity to distract the Chinese people with their own trouble inside China. And also they will use that, you can see on all the social media, to pro-CCP and anti-American. That's what they want over the years. So this is really danger from the CCP, and this is a good opportunity for them. They are laughing behind the scene, and I'm sure they will take the advantage of this chaos to push their narrative and to push their unrestricted warfare. So I think American people has to stay vigilant and take the action.
Give me a minute or two. There's been reports earlier on that Gavin Newsom and others in California, in political circles in California, the Democratic Party, are very close to the CCP, because there's been all these questions about the CCP, because we know they funneled money into Midtown Manhattan, but there's a lot of CCP, the wealth of the CCP families plowing into businesses and real estate in California. And there was some investigation done that said that Gavin Newsom is very close to certain elements of it. Can you give me a minute or two on that?
Absolutely. I think in this country, we do have Communist Party, that's for sure. And Gavin Newsom is so close to Chinese Communist Party. He visited Beijing, and if you remember, and also when President Xi visited Seattle, I believe he cleaned the streets so quickly, and so he has done a fantastic job just overnight to clean the street, just to please the President Xi Jinping. So absolutely, and also there is a lot of corrupted Chinese officials has their offspring and as their children in California. So absolutely, I think Newsom and some other Democratic, I would call them probably Communist Party, also helping with the Chinese Communist Party. The chaos and the lawless happening on the street, that's what they want to see. This reminded me and reminded Chinese the Cultural Revolution happened back in China. People hit each other, they destroy the public properties, they want to erase the history, hit each other, and attack the innocent people. That's what they do. So I think it's disgraceful for what is happening in LA, but I hope that's not happening in the other city, whether it's Detroit or Chicago or New York. But I think we really have to watch that out. I think there is some dark force, especially the Chinese Communist Party, will utilize this chaos to spread this chaos over the country.
Breaking news, the federal judge did not give a stand down, a restraining order on President Trump. This out of federal court. They're going to be in court to make their arguments on Thursday, but no restraining order. President Trump can keep the troops there. This is a huge win for President Trump, just coming across the wires a few minutes ago. even as we do this and look at the chaos and the black hand of the Chinese Communist Party in back of it, as they're in back of so many things, you've got a carrier battle group with the new Chinese aircraft carrier going east of the second island chain for the first time ever. We were always told, oh, China can never do that. Well, guess what? The PLA Navy is doing it.
Great. It's really sad to see what's happening right now in LA, the riots, the violence, and all these are caused by Chinese Communist Party. They're agitating the people, try to cause more chaos and separations inside of the United States, and that's what Miles has been telling the world, the CCP's 3F plan to foment chaos and destruction eventually to the United States. And so let's go to Mr. Truth07. So what's your opinion? Do you have any stories like to share with us about current situation?
Sure. Thanks, Zee. The world, most people, I think, in the West would know by now, the CCP is the master artist of misinformation, disinformation, and distraction. So they're going by playbook, as mentioned during Cultural Revolution. And, I actually lived by those time, and I was in a kindergarten, primary school, all the way to this junior high school. So what we see is that they fomented all the chaos. People hate each other. You have different classes, like your landlord, small business person, and then it become like you are a president, your workers, and so on. So what they do is they actually, in each group, they all have Communist Party members. Those guys, under Chairman Mao's time, they have strong influence and also political power, and they create the fear among the people. So and then they also encourage you to disclose the badness of the other people, including between parents and the children and the wife and husband. So the whole society is covered by the atmosphere of hatred, and distrust. So why, later on I realized, why would they do that? Because they are the ones who should be blamed for all the mismanagement of the businesses, agriculture, and so on. But instead, they're learning people to fight each other, so you don't think about this CCP. The exactly same thing happens, I think, in the United States now on the streets, and now they, the CCP actually have one objectives. If you look at the 1357 plan, it is to weaken the American to a degree where they can be functionally dead. So the CCP can be the #1 world economy, and they're the ones who like to rule the whole world in terms of monetary, finance, military, technology. That's why they have been systematically infiltrated into the United States and the West to stealing technologies, all right? And then to use the BGY techniques to actually witch hunt the target, which are potentially can work for the CCP, but because they manage it and they implement the plan for such a long time now over American society. So you can almost say every badness, disaster happens, like, on the street, all those phenomena are very familiar with me. We saw that in China, in the Tiananmen Square of gods, yes. So because they control the media, and in the United States, they bought the media. So the media have to listen to them. Any misinformation, disinformation, create the fear. That's what they're doing, exactly. So nothing surprising. And plus that they have a BGY, the few key figures in each city, in each governmental level. So they can do almost anything. They even send, I think, according to whistleblowers, they sent probably about 100,000 of military-aged men cross the border and already entered in the United States. They're waiting for something happens where they can actually take down United States by what? By create the destruction and ruin of infrastructure, which are key for everyday living. So to create the chaos in society, and in the same take, they also copied that phenomena by using videos and playing the Chinese media inside China to say, you see, United States is in the chaos now. They're going to go down, and communism is the best. So they continue watching Chinese people to make them feel confident that the CCP still in control of the world, control United States politics, okay, businesses. All that together formulate a multi-level of unrestricted warfare in order to psychologically, okay, economically, and chemically, and military to take down the United States, basically. Back to you, Zee. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. 007, for sharing your opinions. And we know the demonstration or protest is a right of a humans, and it's no problem. But the violence and riots are not allowed. And it is really also sad to see. Hopefully, more and more people see the truth. There's all just a small group of people influenced by the Chinese Communist Party, and they're agitating all these events and causing troubles. And hopefully, the two sides will stay peaceful and eventually will solve the problem and find the common enemy, the Chinese Communist Party. Okay, now I go to Chris. Could you elaborate a little more on your opinions?
Yeah, sure. I think that last week has been lots of things going on in the world. I think that Gavin Newsom is a traitor who collaborated with the CCP to implement the 3F plan in the United States, which is weaken, disrupt, and destroy America. What Gavin Newsom is doing is weakening and disrupting America. He deliberately fails to act and allowing illegal immigrants and fentanyl to flood into the United States. By using fentanyl, he undermines the physical health of normal Americans, damaging their mental health, and destroy traditional American family values, ultimately leading to the weakening of American society and national strength. And then he also using illegal immigrants to steal jobs from ordinary Americans, suppress wages, and undermine the U.S. wage structure. Using illegal immigrants to drain taxpayers' money through misguided subsidies for illegal immigrants, damaging America's education and healthcare system. And he also using illegal immigrants to create crime, unrest, and environmental destructions. The final point, which the deep state aim to achieve, is using illegal immigrants to cast fraudulent vote to manipulate elections, thereby intensifying social divisions and political controversies. These resulting mistakes are then falsely attributed to the innocent President Donald Trump and his administration through misleading narratives, with the goal of seizing power, winning midterm elections, and securing the next presidential elections. And the Gavin Newsom family is essentially a mafia-like clan in California, fundamentally similar to the Chinese Communist Party, which is China's largest mafia. In the past, the CCP seized power through armed mobs and illegal violence. Now the American Communist Party is using illegal immigrants and fake bullets to seize power. And also that the illegal immigrants issues, like in Taiwan, we also had illegal immigrants in the past, whom we called stowaways. The illegal landed in Taiwan by boat. There was even a Taiwanese company that made advertisement marking illegal immigrants coming to Taiwan. However, Taiwanese people understand that illegal immigrants cannot be allowed to enter Taiwan freely. To prevent the CCP from sending people disguising as illegal immigrants to infiltrate and occupy Taiwan, the Taiwanese people clearly recognize that illegal immigrants is wrong. Taiwanese people Taiwanese people in California have all obtained their U.S. status through legal means and understand the importance of abiding by the law. For those who legally obtained U.S. status, illegal immigrants are completely unfair. They cannot comprehend the perspective of supporting illegal immigrants. So we can see that's how much the damage that Gavin Newsom has done to the America. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for pointing that out. I think this is critical. Is no matter what kind of party or political positions you're in, and the one question is, do you believe in communism? Are you stand against communism ideologies? That's the most critical things. Not just separate left and right, but separate all the goodness and also evil. And we all know that the Chinese Communist Party has been. I think one of the Mr. Chu's example is a great example. You know, a couple of years ago in San Francisco, when Xi Jinping, dictator, came into the U.S. and they make things so efficiently. They cleared all the street, sent the homeless to some shelters, immediately make everything look clean. But what they're doing right now with the LA situation is definitely a double standard. And but most importantly is we cannot tolerate this communism's ideology. We need to fight the common enemy together, the Chinese Communist Party. Okay, so let's go to the second topics, and we'll watch another videos and we'll discuss later.
For rare earths, Roy, get us up to speed on what's happening there and the stakes involved. Scott Bessent leading the U.S. team, and of course the Chinese Communist Party has very tough negotiators. What's happening in London?
Talk between the U.S. and China, and our intelligence tells us that CCP is proposing rare earths for chips, meaning that if the United States give the Chinese Communist Party chips, then the CCP would give rare earths. We all know that rare earths is a very important mineral. That's 90% of the rare earths produced by Chinese Communist Party. And this, I think, is never in the U.S. history has any country has showed this kind of gesture to the world, that telling the world that actually any country can blackmail the U.S. And this is what we call a New Plaza Accord, where the U.S. basically have to listen to Chinese Communist Party and listen to their blackmail. And our intelligence just tell us that this is a very politically, this is blackmail against the United States. And rare earths would not be the only thing that they weaponize. I think first thing, we need to think about the U.S. treasuries and also the U.S. investment in Hong Kong and also in mainland China, and also the supply chain around all the production and processing of the products of the United States and the CCP that's providing. Basically, they're thinking President Trump only has 3.5 years, and they have all the time to blackmail the United States. And also, if you look at the whole world, like basically they're flexing. Xi Jinping thinks this will give a set of gesture that all the other countries can blackmail the United States. This is almost like a Plaza Accord, But the positions shift. Like the U.S. is in the position of Japan right now, and making the case that President Trump, just like we talk about, like how President Trump is begging the Chinese Communist Party to make a deal. And although this is very unfair for Trump, Trump is only in office for only like 6 months, and this is a result of almost 50, 60 years. With the appeasement policy and the collusion between the CCP and Wall Street and the Silicon Valley and the colluders inside the United States.
Before I go to Ava, though, in this situation, because we had them over the barrel, we had the leverage with the chips in the chip ban. Did we get caught unawares? Yes, it's been 50 or 60 years, and President Trump almost had the huge deal in the first term. But did we get caught unawares of the auto industry and others' reliance upon the magnets that rare earths are not rare at all, they're just dirt, but the processing of them and processed rare earths using things like magnets are incredibly important in production. Did we get caught up because the CCP has said, they've said 2 or 3 times, oh yeah, we're going to do it, and they haven't done it. That's why President Trump keeps saying, hey, they don't follow through with what they're going to say in Geneva. Did we get caught unawares, and is that the leverage the CCP has over us, sir?
Yeah, I think this is planned, and as I said, this is kind of like CCP is politically blackmailing the United States, understanding that the United States doesn't have the time to move all the processing and production back into United States. And CCP understands this very well. This is a complete weaponization of the supply chain, just like what happened in 2019 when the trade talks still happening and CCP released a deadly virus and killed 1 million people later. And then they sucked up all the PPEs. And ventilators and masks. And they've already done that before. So that's why we warned the world, we tried to warn the world with the intelligence brought by the CCP insiders, the whistleblowers risking their lives from supporting NFSC, to warn the world that the CCP can never be trusted. They never kept their promises. But we think this is really disastrous. And this is the kind of like the economic Pearl Harbor attack on United States economy, and the United States economy is held hostage by the Chinese Communist Party, and this is very dangerous.
Well, hopefully.
I think there is a very important confrontation between the CCP and the US, is that the technological confrontation. And there's been many conflicts within the especially high-tech area, like electrical vehicles and semiconductors and many, many others. And it's really sad to see that, because I've been working in science and engineering field for almost 2 decades. And it is really sad that U.S. have moved a lot of technology-related manufacturing job outside the U.S. because of pollution concerns and some other environmental concerns, and most importantly, the cost savings. And if you move to the Communist Party, and they can save a lot of money, because the Chinese Communist Party has been suppressing their people, using almost like a slave workers and very low wage to take advantage of that. So the U.S. companies make more money by importing these raw materials or lower end product from the China. However, now they're facing a problem. If we have a country like a free market country like Taiwan, Korea, Japan, maybe even Southeast Asia, and there's no issues, you can still do free trade. But with the Chinese Communist Party, it's different. It's a dictatorship, and it's a they have a big plot to use this to blackmail, like Ava and Roy are sharing. They're blackmailing the rest of the world. They're occupying 90% of this rare earth elements, which is very critical to semiconductor and many other fields. And now you have to do something. And if you kowtow to them, they feel happy. Now, yeah, this strategy perfectly wins. It's a win-win situation for Chinese Communist Party to win twice. And they're going to continue to do that to blackmail the U.S. So somehow the U.S. has to do it. They're rare earths in the U.S. They're rare earths in many other countries. They just have to really, really sit down and start looking seriously into the situation and decouple with the Chinese Communist Party. Sorry, I may take a little bit over time. And now go to Chris this time. Chris, can you share your opinions, please?
Sure. I think the only chips that the CCP should get from the United States are the potato chips only. You know, in Taiwan, Taiwan has a TSMC, and TSMC is a very good computer chips making companies. But Taiwan government never used TSMC to blackmail other countries. But we can see from the CCP used the rare earth to blackmail the United States, even other free countries. So appeasement has never been a good way to confront the authoritarian regimes. The rare earth blackmail is still in the negotiation stage, which both sides facing time pressures. Like President Trump's pressure comes from the midterm elections and the next presidential elections. However, from the current situations, public opinion still supports President Trump. Closing the border and deporting illegal immigrants have the support of the majority of the American people. The No Kings protests have also ended in failure. The overthrow of Iran's authoritarian regime by the Iranian people is ongoing. Despite some pressures, mainstream American public opinions still stands with President Donald Trump. So we can see the CCP faces pressures from economic and technological containment. The longer the situation drags on, the worse the CCP's internal economic becomes. More and more Chinese people are unable to endure the CCP's economic failure, and the number of Chinese people rising up in resistance is increasing. The pressure comes not only from the Chinese people, but also from internal power struggles within the party pushing against Xi Jinping. In contrast, Xi Jinping has few leverage points to blackmail the United States. If Xi Jinping undermines U.S. investment in Hong Kong, the ones truly harmed would be the Wall Street elites who oppose President Trump. These Wall Street figures should help President Trump defeat the CCP, or at the very last, not hinder President Trump's efforts. An open China in the future could develop far better than under CCP's rule. On the other hand, the United States holds many cards to play. Through its own resource and technological strengths, along with cooperations with Japan and Australia, the US can resolve the rare earth supply issues. It's only a matter of time. Halting rare earth sales is a double-edged sword for the CCP. Selling rare earths sustains the CCP regime. Thus, it's clear that the CCP is the one in a hurry. So I think President Trump should not do the appeasement with the CCP. President Trump can be more aggressive. And what President Trump is doing now, I think it's good. Like I support him. Thank you.
Right, definitely. There are so many ways that President Trump can take against the CCP. Hopefully, we're going to see more than just tariffs. Tariff, of course, is good, but we need more actions. And yeah, now it's Mr. Truce. Can you share your thoughts?
Yep. Thank you, Zee. I agree with Chris, what Chris been said. So, and the key fact is the CCP. You remember they're illegitimate government. The Chinese people, like myself and you guys, we never voted the CCP. Themselves just barged in and through the international communism, through USSR, formerly the Russians and the Marxist-Leninists. So they come in China, they've done so many bad things. They killed hundreds of millions of Chinese people. through premature abortions, and also through the Great Leap, land reform, 5 million landlords, each of them taking a bullet in the head, and the land title was actually stripped off by the CCP, so become public. It's not public, it's owned by the CCP, and the farmers can only really rent the land, and the farm, the land per family is just one, about 600 square meters. Really, you can't do much. You can't feed yourself even with bad times. So and the workers, now you call about probably 50% or more graduate college students can't find work, can't find job. I saw one video that a girl, she was a graduate from university and worked for 1 year for free. Then when the 1 year free working term ended, and she was given a job, of course, just for 1,000 RMB, which is less than $200 for a whole month. She could not even rent a room in Beijing, right, or Shenzhen. So she was crying. That is not uncommon. So the unemployment is so high, and then the CCP just don't want to let people know. All the misinformation, disinformation collided with the Wall Street together in the West. They're still painting, the GDP is going to go in 5%. But then when you look at the housing sales are just shrinking for the last 5 years. Okay, so to a degree, all the bank are already on the edge of bankruptcy. The biggest property development companies, which half of them are funded by Wall Street through U.S. pension fund, those money will never recover. Okay, and the funny thing is, I know my friends and myself, including our super fund, was actually invested through China Growth Fund. Those years where the property market was booming, but in the end, when we're facing retirement, you know what happened? I mean, the capital you put in over 3 decades of your hard work is shrinked by 25%. So now I realize what happened. But if you do deal with the CCP, they never keep the promise. So they're not going to give you any dividends. And then your principal, if you wanted the money back, then it's not possible. It's like a few years, you still, the money just lost. So I think you will see when the CCP is gone, there will be so many Western people that I know. One of my sons, his classmates, his father was a bank manager. I mean, 15 years ago, he's supposed to be retired, but now he's still working for the last 15 years. You know why? Because the super fund, retirement fund, generated as a bank manager is quite a lot, but was invested in China, and then only 10% left. Think about it. So I think last 15 years, they maybe have some, but if they, I don't know how they're investing. If you invest anything with China, they can give you a yield maybe for a couple of years, but then afterwards no more. If you ask the principal back, sorry, they say that we never accept a foreign investment. Whatever you did is illegal by the CCP's rule of law. So therefore, no money come back. No, that's the real situation that happens around me, myself, and friends, families. So if you follow the CCP, you go to the crematory. Okay, so that's what the whistleblowers find out, and the Miles go given hundreds, thousands of cases of studies and shows that CCP could not be trusted. They are there to taking you principle and give you chicken feet, and maybe, as Chris said, just fish and just chips, okay, potato chips. You give them the fish, they give you potato chips, basically. So it's not fair deal, but of course, there is always people who have been deeply BGY'd. They're the leaderships and the traitors of the United States and the world freedom countries. So we have to be all awakened and have to be careful to ask ourselves, do you want your soul to be dragged to hell with the CCP together? Or would you like to be, go to heaven and live in a happy eternal life? Thank you. Back to you, Zee.
Exactly. Not only just afterlife, but also the current life too. With the Chinese Communist Party, although you may enjoy temporarily some low-cost goods and something, free of contamination in the West of the world, but we're living on one Earth. If you look at the contamination, pollution issues in China, it's getting worse and worse. The carbon emission, if everybody care about carbon emission, why they don't hold Chinese Communist Party accountable? They're the #1 carbon emission country right now. Look at the pollution. Over 90% of the groundwater and underground water have been polluted heavily, and there's no future. We gotta leave, if we want to live in a truly clean Earth, we got to hold them accountable. And with the NFSC, we're going to reshape the thought of the Chinese people and China to build a good relationship to push for a better, more peaceful, and good life around the world. So it's a benefit for everybody. So hopefully more and more people are realizing that. Okay, now let's go to the number 3 and also the last video for today, and we'll share our opinions after that.
All of the tariffs and even the reciprocity was because the fundamental national emergency about fentanyl coming into the country. When the 3-judge panel looked at it in their 100-page ruling, or they just kind of took out the emergency on fentanyl and tossed it out like it was nothing. They started talking about trade policy. President Trump called a national emergency about fentanyl. Your thoughts on that, ma'am?
And I will get to the fentanyl, but I want to add something about this trade talks. Because we talked to LA, we talked to trade talks, but the American needs to focusing on the narrative. Okay, this is where the CCP will bring the victory, not because everything they say is true, and actually quite opposite. A lot of the propaganda derived from the truth. There's ounce of truth in it, but they exaggerate it to the point that you could call it fake news. For example, Forrest just mentioned, people right now inside communist China and outside communist China spreading on social media about Americans falling. American is collapsing. The situation is out of control, but we know the situation is under control. Marine was there. ICE was there. So why? Why the CCP fanning this all over the world? Not only to domestic audience, but to international audience. And they carefully curated in conjunction with the trade talk. What happened on Trade Talk? May 9th, where did they go? They went to London. Why did they pick London? Why did they not go to Geneva? They're sending a strong message, which at this moment as we speak, they are spreading on the world social media, which is, okay, London, you're the very first transatlantic ally of the United States, and you decide to sign an agreement with the United States. Shame on you. Look at me. I dare to challenge the United States. I did not sign, and I'm going to show my muscle and project my power in front of the world. Do you need rare earths? Does Britain, you need rare earths? Does European, you need rare earths? Does everywhere, any countries around the world that's in the high-tech business, do you need rare earths? Look at me. I will be able to corner the hegemon of the world for over a century, that's United States, to come to London and force the hand on them. And rare earths is only one of my many cards. I have your treasury bond. I have your trillions of investment in Hong Kong. I have every other critical material you rely on, genetic drugs, from genetic drugs to other stuff that they produce that United States rely on today. So they are sending the message. On May 9th and 10th, guess what happened on May 9th? When they arrived, when He Jianfeng, the Chinese representative, arrived in London, what did he announce in the London Tech Week? They're going to increase investment, 140 million pounds in their TikTok headquarters. What's that? Okay, you have to pay attention to the narrative. So, and think about the effect those effects going to have on the world elite. Not just America, around the world, because right now every country is negotiating with the United States on the so-called Liberation Day of the trade policy. And Chinese government are playing the dirty hands behind the scene. So that is why you have to pay attention to the narratives they're pumping out. One time, on the one side, they say American has fallen. On the other side, they say, I'm stronger. See, even United States needs me, okay? They're willing to come because London is a location that CCP picked deliberate to send a message around the world. And now they're showing their muscles and see, I'm the boss. I'm single-handedly upend the American strategic capitalization strategy that has kept the world running for over a century. Now this whole seismic shift happening. What happened to the CCP? They will be emboldened. That's why Taiwan today become even more dangerous because CCP is now that ever determined to take the chip industry. They already have South Korea. They're going to move on Taiwan because they know the more leverage they have, the safer they are. Because American today, never before, bent its will. And today, they made a huge announcement. This is what the CCP is going to fan out to the entire world. Think about the psychological manipulation. Think about the narratives that go into everybody's heads. And when they come on table and talk to the United States, what would they do? How will this inspire the rest of the world? What about Czech Republic, who has a laser technology? What about the Dutch, Netherlands, who has the EUV machines? What about the rest of the world? Brazil, French, Germany, or Europe Union, they're all going to come to the table to negotiate with the United States. And all of them need rare earth. So this is a message that CCP is sending, and America needs to pay attention. But I want to say the last thing, because I really wanted to, I hope this is not happening, and I want the United States on high alert, because this is the ultimate plan of the fentanyl that's coming, and this is strictly coming from the intel from the NFSC. Don't ever underestimate the level of evilness of the CCP. They had the fentanyl thought out. It's a multi-phased and long-term planning strategic move against the United States. The ultimate goal of the CCP is to bring the destruction of the United States. How do they do that?
No.
Well, Ava really have a very powerful speech on that, and very, very clearly points out the weakness of the Western world right now. Is what if you're blackmailed? What if they corner the market? What can you do? The appeasement strategy in the last 3 decades and has caused explosion of the Chinese Communist Party influencing both economically and politically around the world. But now we don't have a choice. You got to start doing something. Otherwise, the U.S. and also the rest of the world will gradually degrade. Eventually, they're going to lose the battle, and that is something we definitely do not want to see for everybody who wants to live peacefully in the world. So yeah, there are a lot of things to do, and I give the time to Chris.
Okay, so I think we have to beware of the psychological warfare that comes from the CCP, like through propaganda, information manipulations, and false narratives. Psychological warfare targets the minds and will of a group, thereby influencing their attitudes and behaviors. In a confrontation between two armies, the contest is about the will to win and the belief in the victory. To counter the CCP's psychological warfare, it is necessary to deliver truths and accurate narratives. Like judges who ignore the fentanyl crisis and misinterpret President Trump's tariff policies are also traitors colluding with the CCP in America. They are accomplices in judicial unrestricted warfare, coupled with the media's false reporting, engaging in information unrestricted warfare, and aligning with the CCP's domestic and international propaganda. For example, regarding the sale of U.S. treasuries. Holding U.S. treasuries helps stabilize the RMB exchange rate and manage China's massive foreign exchange reserves and promote an export-oriented economic. And the treasury yields are used to buy dollars, American dollars, keeping the RMB low. Moreover, due to China's real estate crisis and declining exports, its economic relies even more on the stable returns from the U.S. treasuries. The damage to China's own economic, financial, and geopolitical interests would be far more severe. Dumping U.S. treasuries could likely repeat the 2015 RMB crisis, harming China's economic, accelerating Chinese people's resistance towards CCP and hasten the CCP's collapse. So you see, from the same event, under CCP's propaganda, is spun into an entirely different narratives. As long as you understand the essence of the matter, you won't fall into the CCP's propaganda trap. So, I think the people in America and also the people in the world need to spread out the truth and then correct the wrong narratives that people know what really happens. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. Yes, definitely the last one is the question is what we really need to do. Okay, so now let's go to Mr. Truce.
Yeah, thank you. I think Chris raises a good point about the psychological warfare. Basically, all the information we've seen about the Chinese economical development, the situations, the GDPs, unemployment or employment rate, and also the number of people that disappeared due to organ harvesting, and the the CCP's tightened control through internet sensing technology. There is absolutely a hell by living in China, because we have so many friends and classmates living there. So information does leak out every day. If you go there, everything, like the building looks very fancy, big cities and so on. But the thing is, most people now cannot afford houses. I just give you one example of what they do. That the husband and wife bought say 2 million RMB house apartments. So they get divorced first, and then they will sell the house because they can't afford it, right? So 3 million RMB to one party, like to the husband. So the wife gets 3 million and pay off the 2 million loan, and then get 1 million. And the husband will take the money. So what he does, he'll pay for a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, the interest on it. And then after that, no pay. Still live in the house. You say, well, would the banks will kick them out? No, there are too many. There's so many. If the banks kick everyone out, you know what happened? The bank will go bankrupt instantly. So this whole figure is a fake. Okay, so that will free the wife with 1 million RMB on hand. Then they can, maybe look after the kid, one kid, and then give some money for the husband to eat food. So they're in a surviving mood, and the banks know about that. If they don't do that, then the managers, if too many people cannot afford to pay rent, the manager will probably get sacked as well. He will lose his job. Then he can, in turn, cannot afford his own house loan as well. So this whole society, because of CCP's operation, everyone is forced to, to thinking more smart and to trying to get by, all right? So, but we know that this whole situation cannot last long forever, and sooner or later, the hole will be there, and the bank will not be operating unless they're minting more money and get the price inflation. But in the end of the day, I think people should understand when CCP, when there's no truth about the CCP's everything, because they say they belong to the Satan club. They're the leaders of it, so they cannot speak about the truth. They can only use deception to calm people, not only Chinese people, but then the rest of the world. So as long as we stay firm and we talk about the truth, we keep exposing the CCP, you will see our program will last until the day the CCP will vanish. And they can vanish suddenly. You know why? Because the Chinese people are already taking down the CCP. All we need is US capital stop flowing into China, number one, so they can, keep oppression in the Chinese people, censorship, and pay. They call the stabilizing forces, which are the police forces, and then the allies to try and keep the workers away. They keep producing blood, sweat, money, to sell in Temu and Taobao and all those to get we call it foreign currency for the CCPs, which they use 100% of the sales revenue and the BGY, the rest of the world, and support the evils like Iran and so on. So if we keep doing that, they can't last very long. Mathematically, they'll be going down according to Steve K. Bannon and Miles Gore. They can last for 3 to 6 months. That's all they could last. And the people within the CCP will take them down and trying to say, we want the Western democracy. We don't want to do that anymore. Otherwise, everyone could be in the chopping board, chopped by the system, and you just become another number. And maybe not even the number. No one will remember you. So this is a situation, the worst situation when they become extreme, and the whole system will collapse. That's what I firmly believe. So that's why we keep fighting, keep exposing CCP until they left the earth. Back to you, Zee. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have a very great time. And looking at these videos, reviewing them, and discuss about opinions, I think we're at definitely one of the most critical time in human history. Is we're going to decide our future. If we still let the CCP continue to take over all the market share from their geopolitical influences and scientific influences, are we going to live in communism very soon? Maybe in a couple of years, maybe in a few years, maybe in a decade or so. And remember what we have known, the U.S. as the land of the brave, the home of the free, or home of the brave, land of the free, either way. We have to stand up. Taking down the Chinese Communist Party, of course, is our goal, but everything comes with a cost. At a cost, it's not going to be free. And we have so many problems around the world, but I think we have to trust the braveness and all the spirit from the Western world, and we still have to fight. And even it will be costly battle, but we have to do this. Hopefully, everyone will live a peaceful life without communism in very, very soon. And again, thank you very much for your time, and really appreciate and thank you, Chris and Mr. Truth, for sharing your thought with us. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Let's take down the CCP.
Yes.
他们的恐惧是我们的武器，我们的胜利。谢谢了，兄弟姐妹们，你们健身了吗？行动，行动，行动！中共，你完了 ！Take down the CCP！
For the games you want to play, bring it on and I will fight to the end. Just watch and see. It's all started, everything's begun, and you are over. Cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when they're longer.
中共
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了，
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共 你完了，干灭中国共产党这个 CCP， 才能让我们远离恐惧。Take down CCP。
They try to scare the nation with fabrication, but we see through the lies. We won't fall, we will fight you back. Police corruption with crooked assumption. They ran our lives, but no more. We will win. We will take down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little
为
longer.
奴役的人们
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
！Take down CCP。
Bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down the evil CCP.